Deputy Political Leader of the TPP, Dr. Faith Brebner. She joins me on the Zoom line from Sweet Tobago. Dr. Brebner, let me again extend a warm greeting to you and a sincere thanks for the time. I know it's lots of pace, but I'm happy we're getting a chance to touch base. It's been quite a while.
It is, and thank you for having me on. And yes, it's been quite a pace. We are excited about this election, and we are just looking towards that finish line on Monday.
Obviously, this will be a real litmus test. We were talking about that earlier. This will be a real first, as it were, interaction with the public via the voting process for the TPP. I mean, you all hold office, but you all came in under via a different political vehicle. We all know the history there. So TPP now stepping in, what's been the momentum, what's been the feel on the ground for TPP?
So this has been really, really good. Of course, yes, this is the first time we will actually contest an election under the banner of the Tobago People's Party. But quite frankly, the individuals and the people and the team that won the last Tobago House of Assembly election outside of the one gentleman who took his party and left really is the same team that is working on the ground now that is contesting this election. So the vibes on the ground has actually been really, really good. If you've come out to our meetings, you see that we actually have people and people from the community. By the way, we ain't out of busing and flying or boating, no crowd from Trinidad to come and fill up our halls or come up and fill up our spaces when we have our meetings. So we are really, really excited, and we know that Tobago is excited to have an opportunity, probably more important than talking about the TPP part, to have an opportunity to have two candidates and to have two representatives finally after money who would truly represent what the people of Tobago want and need. And I think that is the excitement that we are seeing coming out on the ground when we campaign.
I saw a debate last week. I was watching it on YouTube. I'm watching everything. Once I go on YouTube Live, whatever meeting is going on, I'm trying to go between everyone. And I paid particular attention to that debate that transpired last week in Tobago with the candidates going up for the Tobago East seat. A notable absentee was the TPP representative. How so?
So that is actually not true. Maybe you did not watch the entire debate. So we had planned our entire meeting schedule. And when that group called us, we knew that we had to do our meeting where our TPP candidate, Mr. David Thomas, would speak at our meeting, which he did first, and then dashed off to that meeting. So if you go back to it, and I am kind of disappointed that the moderator did not indicate that we had indicated that to them. If you go back to it, he actually joined the discussion later in the afternoon. And by the way, the same thing will happen this week again when the Tobago West candidate, because we have our meeting scheduled for, I think, Castara on Wednesday, and the Tobago West candidate is going to speak there first and then rush to that as well.
Well, let me tell you.
So that is what happened.
Well, thanks for the clarification. And that's why we have these discussions, frank and open and honest, because I was watching, I said, but I'm not seeing TPP at all, so he came in the later half. Glad to know. Let me ask you, how's Mr. Thomas? I heard of an attack attack on one of your people on the field, Mr. Thomas. What's going on there? If you could give us some details for those who didn't hear that story.
Certainly. So it was very unfortunate. Good thing is that he is up and about and back to campaigning now. It was a very unfortunate incident where, he's a community man. So apparently a day or two before the incident, he had given the homeowner a ride because that is the kind of person he is, not really discussing politics and so forth. So the day of the event, when the canvassers who are going house to house went to the same home of the individual, the person was like, well, but Tommo and tell me he going up for election. We see Tommo 2 days ago or whenever it was. Tell Tommo to come back, and that is what, the message passed on. That is what happened. Tommo, as he's known locally, went back to the home of the individual, was sitting having a conversation. And this other person is the one who's a relative of the homeowner, came in and grand charged and basically pulled the chair out from under him, shoved him a couple times. By the way, I am not repeating hearsay. The individual actually admitted that that is what he did. And, you know, we had to call the police. Mr. Thomas was medically examined at the Roxborough Hospital and so forth. But the good thing is that he is okay now. Unfortunately, the individual decided that or thought that because it was a PNM house and he was a PNM supporter and so forth, that Mr. Thomas had no space in that home, but he was invited. But the most importantly, he is doing pretty well right now. Just a little shaken because you don't expect something like that to happen to you. But he's good and he's back out on the campaign trail.
Let me ask, is this an isolated incident, or have you heard of other instances or situations of violence or intimidation? Because even nomination day, I see people squaring off and shouting. I say, what's going on with Tobago? I mean, I didn't even see that in Trinidad. You're not expecting to see that in Tobago?
Well, you see, I think people are just so, there are two things happening. People are excited and people are riled up about the opportunity that this general election has. And there are also others who are kind of seeing the writing on the wall that they or their candidate is not going to win. So they are responding in a way that is kind of negative. But it is it's all good. We try to say to all of our supporters to not be antagonized, to try to stay away from that kind of negative interaction. The most importantly, you know, as I actually had to say to somebody the other day, we're still in an SOE, so if they lock you up on nomination day, they could hold you until when, and you can't vote. You know, you wouldn't be able to vote on election day, which is the most important thing. So let us keep our composure and let us do this the right way, which we have been doing. We're just this excited. I think people feel offended. People feel insulted by what those on the other side have been doing and saying to us. So people are just really charged up. So that is what you're seeing on the ground in Tobago. It's just that level of excitement because this election means so much to the people of Tobago.
You know, there is this feeling, and again, it was well documented via the news cycle, and it's a talking point here in Trinidad, and I'm sure in Tobago, there is this feeling of association, a backdoor arrangement or agreement, some kind of connection with the United National Congress and the TPP. What's your take on that? Because I know you're quite aware of this particular belief and this perceived alliance, as it were, in the public domain. What do you say concerning that?
So several things are happening. The People's National Movement is trying to use their old playbook of trying to distract us. As a matter of fact, the individuals who are members and political leaders and whatnot of the People's National Movement are the ones trying to push that because they really want to distract us. They want to distract Tobagonians, and they want us to spend our time speaking about talking points that do not get us to the finish line, defending things that we don't need to defend. So I have been very clear. My political leader has been very clear. The entire executive of the Tobago People's Party has been very clear that we have no alliance, no coalition, no anything with any other political party. We are in this to win these 2 Tobago seats because we've said it very publicly. We are going to use these 2 Tobago seats as negotiating tools because what we see is that the politics in Trinidad is coming down. It's kind of close where the 2 Tobago seats could be the determining and the deciding factor in who becomes the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And given that that is where we are, and given that Tobago needs a greater autonomy, Tobago needs additional resources, Tobago needs to not be disrespected, Tobago needs to have access to international agencies that provide us with grants and so forth without us being stymied, Tobago will use these 2 seats to negotiate on behalf of the people of Tobago, and that is what we will do. On the night of the 28th, when we win those 2 seats and when we see what is happening on the ground in Trinidad, we will come together as an executive, as a party, and decide where we throw our support with those 2 seats. Because, as I said, we are using them to negotiate fearlessly for the people of Tobago.
So, as it were, it's really negotiation at this point. If you're able to get the 2 seats, whoever offers or is willing to I guess, accept the terms, you'll go that direction.
Exactly. So it really is. I envision that while many people are probably resting comfortably on the night of election, we will be at the negotiation table with both parties in Trinidad, because that is why we are doing this. We have recognized that every time we've had fierce negotiations for the people of Tobago by candidates or by members of parliament that are independent, quote unquote, from what is happening in Trinidad, is when the Tobago House of Assembly has gotten the most push in terms of the autonomy issue. I don't know if you remember when, Robinson was there, when Dr. Murray was there, when the Nicholsons were there. These are the moments when the Tobago House of Assembly gets pushed into further autonomous state. And we intend to use these 2 seats to do exactly that again.
Dr. Brebner, as we wrap things up, I give every political leader or candidate stepping into the big race opportunity to present to the nation the reason why a vote for you and a vote for the TPP, a vote for your two candidates there, Tobago West and Tobago East, is the vote that will bring value to Tobago. Tell us why.
Certainly. So as you see, I have on my sleeve, on my thing, our logo, which is the anchor. The anchor holds. The Tobago People's Party is the symbol that you would be looking for on the ballot paper. You would look for it. It will look very dark. It's in a really, really dark box because we're not sure what happened there, but that's a whole other story. But what we are saying is that this is an opportunity for Tobagonians in particular to come out and place your finger, place your X next to the anchor, because for Tobago East, and the person who will stand up and fight for you is David Joseph Thomas, and in Tobago West, the person who will stand up and fight for you is Joel Marcus Sampson. And when those 2 individuals, when you come out and vote, and you have to come out and vote because you can't take this for chance, when you come out and vote for the Tobago People's Party, those are the 2 individuals who we are going to send, who's going to work with our political leader and the entire structure of the TPP to ensure that Tobago gets the level of autonomy that we have been pushing for. Every single Tobagonian needs to not waste that opportunity on Monday.
Dr. Brebner, as always, sincere thanks for touching base. No matter what takes place post 28th, let's get a chance again to link here on the Zoom line. All the best.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's right, the TPP getting a chance to touch base. Again, all are invited, and this is the final week, the final push. So feel free and reach out to our producer. We will make the space for you and your candidate. We take a pause. We come back much more after the break.